Mario 2. I actually do want to see this.
I've been talking about Super Mario Brothers too much lately. I think it's time to branch
Mario
out a
2 is
little
one of
bit.
my favorite games.
Instead, let's talk about Super Mario Brothers 2. No, not that one. As much as that is an underrated speedrun, and the warpless category is my personal favorite speedrun to do,
Wait, what?
we won't be talking about it today. No, today
What are these
we'll be
dodges?
talking about some levels that are even more lost, in terms of speedrunning notoriety at least.
What the heck?
This run is insane. This run is so hard. This run has such cool strategies. I genuinely think this is the most underrated Mario speedrun. Let's break down the Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, this looks crazy already.
All levels world record.
Okay.
Before we
I
break
love this
down the
game
run,
so much.
I have
This is
to
going to
talk
be
about
good.
This video sponsor, Manscaped. And specifically, we'll be talking about the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. I'll give it to you straight. This shaver is something I genuinely use all the time, and here's what I like about it. The zoom wheel is definitely my favorite feature. It just makes it super easy to pick exactly what length you want to trim your beard to. It's waterproof, which I don't shave in the shower, but if you do... It's
Alright, look, hear me out. I think I've said this before. If I'm watching a guy talking about video games, why the fuck am I gonna listen to him about a manscaping tool? He doesn't even show his face. Does he have a beard? I don't know. Maybe he's a smooth babyface 18-year-old who can't grow facial hair. Why would I buy this? Why would I like, come on. I don't understand the advertisements like this. I don't know why they would. I understand it's because of the age demographic that he has, but he'd have a better shot at getting people to sign up for Raid Shadow Legends than getting up with Manscaped, I think. Sorry.
Perfect for that. And either way, it makes it really easy to clean. The battery display is nice, so you're never caught off guard with how much is left.
This one's gonna be good, though.
And I will say, I haven't had to charge this one as often as I did with previous shavers.
Okay.
The Pro Kit comes with a bunch of other stuff too, like beard oil, shampoo, conditioner,
shave your balls on camera.
So if you're interested in trying it out, go to manscaped.com.
That's what it's for, right?
20% off plus free.
That's what they all say.
If you use promo code COSMIC at checkout.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's get into it. First off, I have some preliminary things to talk about. For one, I'm sure I'll get a few comments about how this isn't a real Mario game because it's just a reskin
it's such a
of
good
Doki Doki
Mario
Panic.
game.
But in my experience, a lot of people who feel this way don't actually know that much about Doki Doki Panic.
I never knew Doki Doki Panic existed.
Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic, and it was made by the same developers as the other Mario games. They deliberately tried to make it play like a Mario game, and even included things like stars and POW blocks. This game gave us a lot of recurring enemies in the series, like those you see on screen now.
Birdo's a guy, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know.
Of holding and throwing items like shells in the Mario games.
Birdo is
Doki
confirmed
Doki
to be
Panic has
a
some
male.
other major gameplay differences as well. You can't switch characters between levels.
So where did the eggs
a
come
brand new
from?
Boss in Mario 2, and most of all, you couldn't
I've always wondered.
run in Doki Doki Panic. The gameplay is a lot slower. So,
oh, dude, it's Mario.
Speaking of running, let's get back to talking about the speed run. The category we'll be focused on is all levels, and the current world record is 2035 by Ethan RTA. In this run, we won't be using any of the game's built-in warps to skip any stages. Glitches within the levels that let you go faster are allowed, and there are some really
like
cool
holding
ones.
enemies.
However,
yeah, so anytime you hold an
also
enemy, for some reason you run
transport you
faster.
from one stage to another, and those
You only know
aren't
the
allowed.
SNES remake of this game. Watching it with so few colors is weird to me. This is what I grew up playing.
You don't get credit for beating all
we
the
were
stages.
really poor, so I had a lot of
results
NES
to show we've
games
completed
because we
all
would just go
20
to
levels
garage
at the
sales
end.
and get a ton of them.
Spoilers, by the way. Toad is really good, and Luigi is good as well. Mario and Peach.
Garage sales used to go crazy back in the like early 2000s, late 90s.
Let's be honest, this is about what it looks like whenever you do a 4-person group project. All right, let's actually get started talking about the run. I'll be keeping some info in the top left corner.
What the
some fun
heck?
extra details.
That was a crazy start.
To see how
Dude,
Ethan's
what?
run compares to the previous world record. And I'll also keep a stat up here, which is a running total of how lucky the run is as well. Here we go.
Is he gonna?
We've got
He's not
20
gonna.
levels to break down. Buckle up.
The
Starting
movement in
with
this game
1-1,
is so
this is
freaking
actually one
hard,
of the most
and like
complicated levels in the
guesstimating
run.
where you're going to
Here,
throw
let's do
things.
something fun. This is what a more casual playthrough of this level might look like.
I know it's not guesstimating. It's there's the input,
And
but it's so hard to do.
Here's what it looks like in a world record.
Yeah, I can fight Birdo that way. What? Dude, what? What?
It's only the first level, and we've got so much going on. This is going to be information overload right up front, because I have to explain like 4 different tricks and mechanics.
Wait, was that the whole
they'll come up
level?
again throughout the rest of the run. First, he picks Toad because Toad's unique ability is he runs faster when he's carrying something. That
Oh, it's only
doesn't
Toad that does
make
that,
a lot
okay.
of logical sense, but we will not complain. You'll see him in each area pick up the first thing he can to start running faster. Next is double jumps. You'll see this used in a number of places as well.
How?
If you jump really close to an enemy, so you clip the corner of them on the way up, then the game thinks you landed on top of the enemy and considers you to be in a grounded state. As long as you push jump again before you start falling, you'll be able to jump again mid-air. This one Ethan does at the beginning of 1-1 is extremely
nuts,
tight.
dude.
He has to get just about the maximum height so he can land up here. And this is just the trick to get to the trick. He comes up here so he can grab a potion out of the ground and create a door to the
that
subspace.
right there is so
in normal
hard.
Gameplay, you go in here to get power ups.
Yeah, there's a
and find coins to earn
speedrun
extra
thing for
lives.
just getting that
But
mushroom
that's
in
not why
the new
Ethan's going
NES
to
game.
subspace. He went in so he can
NES
go right
Champions
back
game.
out. This seems weird and pointless, but you'll notice something weird happened with the POW block.
Whoa.
He picked it up and then picked up an enemy afterwards.
Wait,
and
what?
it vanished. If you grab an item on the very first frame after exiting subspace, the item gets in a sort of glitched state. It gets picked up, but Toad doesn't act like he's carrying it. It just floats around above your head. You can keep picking other things up and throwing them, and the glitched item isn't affected at all. So Ethan goes into subspace, does a frame-perfect yoink on this POW block, despite there being no good visual cue, and then grabs another Shy Guy for speed. He keeps running through the level and does another tight double jump to get up to this door. Now, the whole point of getting the glitched item is to take it through this door. You normally can't take items through doors, except keys, but with this glitch active, you can. And now, the whole reason he brought the POW in here is just so he can glitch out another item. Well, an enemy this time.
That's right, the running faster thing is a Toad. Yeah,
kills
Toad
all the
only.
enemies on screen. And if you pick up an enemy in the first 2 frames after the POW hits the ground, you'll get that glitched state again. Now he's carrying the Shy Guy hands-free, and the goal is once again to take our glitched item through another door. But we're not actually going to use the door. We would have to wait out a bomb fuse to blow up this wall, and that's slow. Instead, Ethan pulls 2 bombs out of the ground. He throws both of them against the wall and races to the bottom of the ladder. Now, you can catch falling items while climbing, so he catches the first bomb. But now that he's
You're surprised how underused Peach is? Dude, Peach is crazy because she can float.
Through the floor
it's like the best thing ever. You can just float over big gaps to other
door.
platforms.
This is called a romp.
I always played with Peach
I'll get
growing
more
up.
into the details of this glitch
Or
later.
Luigi. I really
The
like
short
Luigi
version
just
for
because
now is
the jump height
basically
was
the
fun.
game knows if he's on this screen
I
and takes an
never
exit,
played
it
Mario
needs to
though.
put him
I
on this
never
screen
played as
outside.
Mario.
Normally that's done via the door, but since it was done via a ladder this time, we enter the next screen on a
I mean,
ladder.
heck, if I had my choice, I would never play as Mario in a Mario game. My least favorite character of any Mario character.
Glitch. Again, I'll go into this one a little more in depth later, but for now,
I don't know why either. I just don't like his character model.
He can do another
I've
type
never
of
liked
mid-air
it.
jump and save some time here. Okay, finally, we've made it.
I'm
We've
just a
juggled
weirdo.
several different glitches, all to bring a Shy Guy with us onto this screen.
Yeah,
We have a little mini-boss here named Birdo.
how
Normally,
does
the way
it-
this fight works is Birdo will spit out an egg every 4 seconds or so.
Yeah, this is how I
means
do
a
it.
lot of waiting around for opportunities to deal damage, and that's
But
where
he
the
has-
Shy Guy comes in. This part happens off screen, so let me show you what this looks like. He throws a Shy Guy into the ground and hits himself with it on purpose. While Toad is taking damage, everything on screen freezes, except the falling Shy Guy. He does this to keep Birdo in place while the Shy Guy travels towards her. Once it reaches her, it starts bouncing and deals all 3 hits in one go. Ethan had to go a little out of his way to make this possible, but ultimately, this saves about 6 seconds on Birdo.
Dude, what?
Whew. All of that was just the first level. There's still 19 more for Ethan to successfully run through, and 19 more for me to break down for you.
Dude, this is crazy.
It's been a lot of work to get this video out, so subscribe if you want to see more like it. Alright, on to 1-2. This is another pretty complex stage. At the start, there's this Pidgeot enemy riding a carpet. We need to commandeer that carpet for our own purposes, so Mr. Pidgeot's gotta go. He always swoops down at the start. If we miss our chance to grab him now, we'll have to charge a power squat jump to reach him, and that would be slow. Ethan intentionally takes damage so he can jump through him and catch him on the upswing. Great, we've got our carpet. But you know what they say, 2 carpets are better than 1, am I right?
Wait, what?
Normally, riding a carpet locks you into moving at a really slow speed, but when you spawn a second carpet, we can get around that. The game is focused on whether or not you're riding the newest carpet, and loses sight of the first one. So your speed doesn't get locked down when you jump on it anymore, and we're free to run like the wind. At this point, you're normally supposed to go down here, get a key, unlock this door, and go through this whole room. But we're just gonna fly right over it. Ethan carefully lines up with the ground here, so he can toss the fidget, clearing the enemies out of the way in the process, and pull a potion out of the ground. He's gonna do a repeat of the glitch he did in the previous level. He goes in the door to subspace, goes right back out, and does another frame-perfect pluck to get a glitched vegetable above his head. This is, again, so we can bring an item through a doorway and skip waiting on Birdo's egg cycles. Ethan quickly takes her out with the veggie and saves several seconds. That wraps up 1-2, and we're on to 1-3.
That one, dude,
this is the
and he
last
saved,
level of
he
World
saved
1.
a millisecond
the last
on that
level
with
of
the
each world
crap.
has a boss fight. And for this world, it's Mauser. No, not Bowser, not Meowser. Mauser. He's a big mouse that throws bombs at you. Bosses and a lot of other things in this game.
Take damage to save time is my favorite type of
timer.
Yeah, that's just not something
bullets,
that we as people
eggs.
think about
Those are
to
just
do
a few
usually.
examples of the things that work off of the global timer. It starts ticking at the beginning of each level, and it starts fresh each time, so it doesn't matter what has happened in previous levels. Each level is self-contained, and you know what patterns you're going to get based on how you've played that specific level so far. The pattern that Mauser does will be influenced by where the global timer is when we reach him. Ethan put in a lot of work
I can
to
never
figure out
get through the
fastest
gap.
strategy for this fight. He wants to play this level at a very specific speed so he can get the fastest pattern. And part of this involves a precise trick coming up. When we get inside this building, we're supposed to go up to the top and grab a key, then take the key all the way to the bottom to open this door. But we're going to do another wrong warp glitch instead. Just like last time, we're going to get pushed through the ground so we can take an alternate glitched entrance instead of going through the slower intended one. This time
so
around,
he did it with
we'll
2
have
bombs
a Shy Guy
last
land on
time.
top of us to push us through the floor. The
Is she
standard
to
way
a new
do
part
it
for you?
looks something
Alright.
like this, where you ride the Shy Guy down most of the way.
Take damage, get
Ethan
pushed
does a
by
very
the Shy
high-level
Guy.
version of this trick, with only a 2-frame window to throw the Shy
Dude.
Guy. He also has to manage his speed on the way down, and grab this chain to slow his descent a bit so the Shy Guy doesn't go off screen and unload. This setup for the trick was invented by an old legend of the game named I Love Mario.
How do
Shoutouts
you
to
even
him.
think about this?
Now, because Ethan did the faster version of the wrong warp, and has otherwise played the level at a specific speed, he's all set up to get the fastest pattern on the boss. At the end of this room, we find the orb that opens the hawk mouth. That usually ends the stage, but on the last level of each world, it instead leads to the boss room. Ethan crouches on his way in, so he comes out crouching on the other side too, and that lets him avoid bonking his head. Alright, now we're in Mauser's room, and he's just behind
it's
this
such
wall.
small
Ethan
movements,
jumps up
dude.
here, and that spawns Mauser to get him to start throwing bombs while we're waiting for this wall to blow up.
Really?
We need
I
3
didn't-
bombs to take out Mauser, and we
No,
have that perfect
get outta
pattern
here.
with 3 bombs ready to go right away. Throwing these over to Mauser's platform is way harder than it looks, thanks to some jank hitboxes, and I mean, you can see in slow-mo just how tight this is. But yeah, 3 quick ones, and Mauser is down for
Everything
the count.
this guy's doing
Now we
is like
listen to a
perfect.
celebratory fanfare, and with all of that, we've managed to make it through the first world of the game.
In 2
On to the
minutes and
next world.
26 seconds.
In 2-1, Ethan wants
Holy
to pick
crap.
up an enemy as soon as possible to give Toad a speed boost. This snake guy is called a Cobrat, and he's our man.
I
You'll
can
notice
never
that
do.
he
I
bobs up
can't
and
jump
down
on
in the
top of
sand.
this guy.
Ethan makes sure he's at a low point before getting close, so he's lowered down when he jumps out, and it's easier to get on top of him. Now, as he
My
runs through here,
gosh.
you'll notice this level has lots of sand. I guess that's another thing this Mario game introduced to the series, a desert world for World 2. And the sand isn't
This
just for
exact
show. It's about to
map
become
is on
very
the
relevant here in a
speedrun,
second.
and you go in.
We're
the-
going to start
there,
digging.
Yep.
There will be a few digging sections in this run, and each one is a fine art. You need a good rhythm to do it fast, and you'll often see him zigzag on the way down. This is to change the path that the Shy Guys walk, so they don't fall down onto him. You also want to go wherever the cherries are, because that's an extra tile that you don't have to dig. Plus, getting 5 cherries makes a star appear. Where it floats to after it appears is seemingly random, but it's based on the global timer as mentioned earlier. Ethan pauses at this spot and waits for a specific audio cue to make the star float to a consistent spot. This also manipulates the bullets that the Sniffet shoots.
What?
If it ends up shooting too many, then the star actually won't be able to spawn. It's crazy how many details are going on in speedruns, and most of the time you just have no idea.
Your brain
Once
has to
Ethan
work
gets the
so
star,
fast
he
for this
quickly
run,
gets down
dude.
this ladder and enters Birdo's room. And once again, he defeats her
I
without
like that
having to
this guy
wait
has his
any egg
odds of
cycles.
winning.
This saves 10 seconds. This was the last pink Birdo in the game. Other colors will start showing up now, which shoot eggs faster or have objects in the room to fight them with. The pink ones, you're always supposed to wait around for 4 seconds at a time to get eggs. But Ethan managed to kill all the pink ones without waiting on a single egg.
It's
Alright,
ridiculous.
moving on to 2-2, Ethan grabs another Cobrat to start off. He makes sure to grab it on the far right side, and then hold A.
So he can,
Holding A makes you fall slower.
So he can
the
land on the
combination of those
cactus.
two things lets him make it onto this cactus. As he runs
Let's
through
let
the
him
stage,
jump on the other
he wants
one.
to pick up some more cherries
Wow.
to get another star later. Eventually, he comes to another ladder, or vine, I guess. Vine, chain,
The
ladder,
amount of
it's all the
hours
same
you
in
have to
this game.
play.
Now, I kind of breezed past this last time, but he drops off the side of the vine so he can fall down faster, and then re-grabs it at the bottom to climb down through the screen transition. Once inside, we have some more digging to do. There's actually a very precise optimization Ethan's gonna go for here. With really precise vertical positioning, it's possible to land on top of an enemy instead of on top of the next row of sand. If that happens, you can just walk off the side of the enemy to get down, and this is called a dig skip. The problem is that it's precise down to the subpixel level, and you can't really control it. There's basically only a 1 in 4 chance that it works each time. Okay guys, actually, while working on this video, I had the idea to jump into a ceiling to get consistent vertical positioning, and it turns out that it works. This can now be used in future runs to save time in multiple levels, and maybe even
Wait,
shave
what?
a little bit of time off of the any
Did he
percent
just...
run. You might be thinking, big whoop, skip digging 1 tile. But remember, in this game, there's always that global timer ticking
Wait,
in
he
the
just found
background.
his thing to help
Sometimes one
speedrunners?
tiny
This guy's
change like
crazy.
this can lead to saving more time elsewhere. And that's exactly the case in this level.
3 HP,
Ethan
more like
gets
3
the
frames
1
a
in 4
game. The
chance
sprite
of a
to
dig
collide
skip
with your
on this Shy
sprite.
Guy.
Yeah, dude,
That's
no,
gonna
straight
make
up.
all the difference
This is...
on Birdo at the end.
This
He
is
keeps digging and gets
ridiculous.
enough cherries to get a star. This lets him be bulletproof and Shy Guy proof and get through this part safely. Now he's in Birdo's room.
He
and
did,
here we see
HP
our
is just...
first
The
instance
HP's
of these
calculated.
mushroom
They don't need
blocks. These will
HP.
be really
Their
common
main
boss
enemy
fights
is
from here on
frames.
out as a way to deal damage. Ethan grabs a block and power squat jumps up to Birdo. And because he got the dig skip earlier, he can do an extremely fast fight here. He throws the block to deal 1 hit on the way in, and then gets in position as she's about to fire an egg. Similar to how the Shy Guy bounced into Birdo multiple times in 1-1, if you throw these mushroom blocks into an egg, they'll bounce and hit Birdo multiple times.
That's
You'll
so
keep seeing
dumb.
this kind of thing a lot. Which
My gosh.
also means something scary. See, we're fighting red Birdos now. Red Birdos usually shoot eggs, but sometimes they shoot fireballs. And the mushroom block doesn't bounce off of the fireball.
So you have
just
to
hit
get...
and look
You have to
foolish.
hold... Your run
There's a
could end
1 in
here
8
if it's a
chance
fireball.
For these Birdos to shoot a fireball instead of an egg. Pretty good
That
odds,
would
but to go as fast as
suck.
possible, we need to do this sort of thing several times throughout the run. And you can see the odds start to go down pretty quickly. And it's actually even worse in this case. Because the more
Wow.
damage Birdo takes, the more likely she is to shoot a fireball. Because Ethan did damage on the way in, it's actually a 1 in 5
This
chance
is
of a fireball
crazy,
this time.
dude.
For the most
Oh
part,
my
you
gosh.
can mitigate luck
Can you
in
react
this
to the
run by
Devara
knowing about
movie
the global
trailer?
timer and
The
playing
Devara
accordingly.
movie trailer. Yeah,
But
sure.
unfortunately,
I don't even
there
know what that
still
is.
a decent amount of luck
Here,
with certain things like this.
let's take a quick sabbatical because that's definitely going to be shorter than the rest of this. Oh, that looks hard. Hold on.
जिन आंखों ने धैर्य के सिवा कुछ नहीं देखा था, आज पहली बार डर से
This looks crazy.
भरी हुई थी। उन सबको किसने मारा? बहुत लंबी कहानी है, खून से समुंदर को लाल कर देने वाली कहानी।
Oh,
हमारे
okay.
देवरा की कहानी।
The story. Okay, hold on.
आदमी में बस जीने की हिम्मत होनी चाहिए, किसी को मारने की नहीं। अब अगर तुमने फिर से ये करने की हिम्मत की,
I don't know, this music's kind of hard.
बनूंगा जो उस हिम्मत को मिटा देगा।
जब तक तू यहाँ है, हम तेरा काम आने देते हैं। देवरा को मारने के लिए सिर्फ सही समय ही नहीं, सही हथियार भी मिलना चाहिए।
भोला भाला सीधा साधा बिल्कुल बुद्धू है, कैसे बनेगी?
क्या तू संग्राम में लड़ने की सोच रहा है? अरे क्या बात कर रहे हो? मुझसे नहीं हो पाएगा।
अपने बाप से सिर्फ उसकी शक्ल मिलती है, हिम्मत जरा भी नहीं।
अगर काम पे गया तो काम होते ही लौटा था। वो अपनी जिद पूरी करने गया है।
Oh my gosh, this looks like it's gonna.
देवरा को समुद्र पर गए हुए 2 साल बीत चुके थे। जो मैंने समंदर के अंदर देखा, वो अभी भी मेरी आंखों के सामने है। अगर इस डर को पार करके समंदर पे गलत काम करने
Oh my god, okay. Ooh, okay. Oh my god.
आज से एक अंधे का डर बनूंगा।
He's fucking riding a shark, dude. Oh my god. Part one. Okay, look. I'm gonna tell you what needs look, I'm gonna tell you what. This looks like a very nice, like, gratuitous, violent, silly, just good movie to watch with the boys. You know what I mean? This looks like this looks. I actually think I'm gonna watch this. This looks fun. This looks fun. This just looks like silly and just gratuitous violence for no reason. I love that so much. Pretty good. That looks pretty good.
Alright, that's enough about that. Let's move on to 2-3. We've been going quickly down a lot of ladders, but now it's time to go up one quickly. Ethan does a ladder jump here. It's the same thing that happened on 1-1, but we can actually see the ladder this time. We'll see this trick a bunch from here on out.
Oh, that's how
actually kind of like
yeah, dude. He rode the shark. He wasn't even just riding the shark. He had that whip ready too, dude. He had that whip ready. Nah, dude. He's not just riding that shark. He's fucking wrangling that shark.
It's a 3-frame window to jump.
I live in the U.S., so maybe I know that's the United Kingdom, so maybe it won't. But regardless, I have a site that I use that I can watch pretty much anything I want after like a month of being out.
It's time for some more digging. We need to go
So I'm not
all the
too
way to
worried
the
about
bottom
it being
to
in
get this key
theaters,
to open
if
this
that's like an
door.
issue.
There's no way to wrong warp in there this time.
Although
These
if it
parts
is in
could be
theaters, I'll
seen
probably
as
go see it
boring,
in theaters
but
with my
honestly, these are some of
with
the
all
most
my friends because
impressive
that's usually a
sections
good
to me.
time.
On the way down and on the way back up. If you compare top level runners to just average runners of this game, it's crazy how much time they pick up in these sections.
Yeah, look at that.
On the way down, Ethan gets 5 cherries again to make a star spawn. This will be very important.
My goodness.
Just kidding. He doesn't
Domesticate
actually
the
need it.
shark. Yep,
He charges
domesticate
the jump
it.
and grabs the key just in time before getting hit by this spark.
You can look up
Grabbing
if
the
it's
key
near you.
makes Phanto start chasing you. This guy was probably the precursor to the angry sun.
Here, I
from Mario
can.
3.
I'll look up if
But
it's near.
Ethan
I'll look up
actually
if it's
moves
near
so
me
fast,
later.
you
I'm
hardly
not
see
too
him.
concerned about it right this moment.
What happened on the door right there?
But I'm definitely
That
gonna look it up
was
later.
weird.
I'll definitely see if it's
When
gonna
you
be
get near
showing
the
somewhere
top of the
later.
screen,
I do have
everything
a
freezes,
Regal
and then the
Theater
screen scrolls up to where you are.
relatively near.
But if you land right where a door is, there's
They
a
usually
2-frame
play like
window where you can
a
open
lot
the
of
door
foreign films too.
before the screen scroll
If they're
happens.
big.
That kind of breaks things, and you're free to move around as the door animation is going. I said we couldn't do a wrong warp to get in the door, but we can do a wrong warp with the door. When you don't go through the door properly,
I think it
like
would be
you're
a good
supposed
theater
to, the
experience,
game
honestly.
defaults to put
Especially because I think it would be a theater full. I don't think anyone's bringing their girlfriend or wife really, unless they're really into that type of. Because that just looks like a good man movie, you know. I can imagine just a ton of dudes going, oh, at like all the silly shit. Oh man. No, thanks for showing me that. That was I like it. I like it a lot. It's good.
It's not an enormous time save.
I haven't heard of that movie yet, so I appreciate it.
And it's really impressive to hit this on top of all of the other stuff.
Dude rides a freaking shark. I
Ethan
have to
grabs the
watch
orb
that. Are
in
you
the next
kidding me?
room and once again crouches into the Hawk's mouth, which lets him move faster through the boss room. Now this guy is Triclyde. He's maybe the
What's wrong
most
with his head?
intimidating looking boss in the game. But don't worry, he's no match.
It's the biggest
for this
movie. It's the biggest Indian
tiny
movie
bird.
currently. Oh, okay.
I'm not sure
Yeah,
why
it's
they put
probably
this
going to be
Speedrun
really
into
big
room
then.
here,
The
but
production
you can
value
throw
looks
him at a
really good
block,
on it,
and
honestly.
he'll bounce up and down and
And
damage
I
Triclyde
think with
multiple times.
and you know like explosions, blood, like fighting, these sell. at least in America, like big. It's just fun. It's like it's almost like a power trip fantasy for men, you know? So it's like, no matter what, something like that with a good production, it'll probably do well. Especially if they, at least if they have subtitles. He's an actor, he's the actor from RRR. I don't know what RRR is.
That's
Sorry to
one
say.
very fast kill and one more world done. So it's on to World 3. In 3-1, there's a waterfall that's not super fun to look at. But trust me, it could be worse. It was much worse in Doki Doki Panic. I'm not going to show it because I'm afraid it will hurt someone.
Oh yes.
I want to see what the waterfall
I do
looks
have
like.
to say,
Ah!
anyone who's watching has a problem with seizures.
Look how
probably
fast
wants
it's
to
going!
look away. It's good. This is just so. And of course, I have to go down here, which will make it even worse. There we go.
You can't see anything!
And go down here. And...
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it could be worse.
You can look it up at your own discretion if you want, but don't say I didn't warn you. Anyway, we ride this carpet up, up, up into the sky before reaching this big vine. Here's an opportunity for vine jumps to save some time.
Hey, not a problem. Thank you, man. I appreciate it a lot.
That didn't go very well for Ethan this run. Here's what it usually looks like for him. He really wanted to do this.
You ever have
part
any other
quickly
good movies or
because it helps
anything
to get
like
a good
that?
Birdo
Please let me
pattern
know.
at the end. But now because
Or
he
if
messed
there's
up the
ever
vine
another
jumps,
big thing
he has
like
to
that in
resort
India.
to this ghastly looking fight. Yeah, actually, you would hardly know this wasn't the strategy he was aiming for. It still looked plenty fast. But here's what he was hoping it would have looked like. Alright, it's time for 3-2, and what is this? New character. It is Princess Peach's time to shine.
Here we are.
Her key trait
Finally.
is that this superpower of hers lets us cross this big gap.
Yeah, Peach is the best character.
This room and bombing a bunch of
For
walls.
normal play, at least. I love
It almost
Peach.
seems like an intended skip. Like, there are a bunch more rooms, but the rest have walls in between them. I'm not sure why they
your
just
first
put a
instinct
gap
was
here
YouTube
instead of a
crashed?
wall, but either way, it's
Oh,
awesome
wait,
for Peach to get some screen.
I stopped it? Wait, I didn't stop it? Oh, you meant the...
Now,
yeah, I
if
see what you
skipping
mean.
that room wasn't enough, we're gonna skip over the rest of it too. Like, literally over it. If you ladder jump near the top of the screen, you can land up on top and walk over the level.
What?
This is a callback to the famous 1-2 warp zone secret in the first game.
I never knew you could do that.
This is a glitch.
Oh,
Once
okay.
Ethan
Yeah,
reaches
okay.
the furthest ladder,
That makes
climbs
more
up
sense.
it and enters the door to
The other
arrive at
video. Oh,
Birdo's
gotcha.
room. The blocks to damage this Birdo are floating strangely to the left of her. Ethan picks one of them up and actually uses Peach's float here as well to not fall down. This fight is going to be like earlier, where we bounce the block off of an egg to do multiple hits. Except now we
But
need the
now
block
he
to
is the
hit
risk of a
3
fireball,
times.
right?
Ethan walks under the block, so it bounces off of Peach for the last hit. Now that's using your head. Ugh, this game has cool strats, man. Also,
Oh my
remember
gosh.
there's another 1 in 8 chance for Birdo to spit fire here and ruin the run.
And every
Thankfully,
single time
that
he
didn't
encounters that Birdo,
Okay, guys, I'm jumping
The
in here
odds
again
are
to say that
not
I figured
increased,
out
but like
another
they
cool
are.
new strategy
But they're not,
while
but they
working on
are.
the video. See, there's actually a huge trick in this level that the tool assistant
according to
unveils.
odds,
Going through the floor like this,
Fireball
is
is gonna be
extremely
coming
precise,
soon, but, like,
and
yeah.
no one has ever been able to pull it off in real time. I figured out a different method that is viable though. It's still really hard, and we need some work to figure out the fastest way to set it up, but I'm really excited about it. We might see this trick in a world record run in the future. Although that
what,
unfortunately
dude?
means I probably killed Peach's 1 moment of glory in the run. My bad. Anyway, on
Wow,
to
dude, he's out
3-3.
here actually
This
helping
level
them with their
is a
speedruns.
lot. It's
I hope
maybe the
people
hardest
actually
level in
take
the
some of
game.
his tips.
If we made a podium of
can,
the top 3 hardest
least.
levels in the run, well, 1-1 might come in first actually, but its difficulty is mitigated a lot by being right at the start, so you can just retry instantly. This
Yeah.
level is at least a close second. We have another new character alert here, as Ethan
Mario.
picks Mario for this level. Mario doesn't really have any standout characteristics like Toad's speed, Peach's float, or Luigi's
Is it
jump
because
height.
maybe because his
But in
jump
this
is
level,
more
we do need
predictable?
someone who can jump better than Toad. And even though
Oh,
Luigi has the
okay.
best jumps, he actually
floatiness
rises
makes him
pretty
harder.
slowly with each jump. So
Okay.
Mario is the optimal choice here. The action
Well, why not
really
just stick
starts
with
when we
Peach
enter this
then?
building and have to climb this huge vertical room.
Oh, maybe
Ethan
because you
grabs
don't
the
want to
Shy
risk
Guy and
when the
starts bringing
narrator
it up
says
a bit
I.
for some extra height. He throws the Shy Guy against the
Dude,
wall.
he's
He does
he's
a
taking me
double
out of the
jump
video. He's
off of
breaking
it.
the fourth wall.
Mario's height makes it up here perfectly. The precision
Oh,
doesn't
right,
stop
because
there, though.
he clipped
does
the
another
side
tight
of the
double
boat,
jump
yeah.
off of this tweeter, and then a bunch of chain jumps in this
Unbelievable,
section,
dude.
dodging enemies and fireballs along the way. In the next room, there's more tight vertical platforming, weaving between
This
the
looks
spark
crazy.
enemies all the way up.
And he's
So
grabbing the
many jumps in
cherries.
this stage are harder than they look, because
That's-
you need to make sure you manage your speed properly to get enough height. Alright,
Okay,
made it to
I
the
know why
top
he
and
didn't
go in
play
the
as
door.
Peach.
Now, let's go back down. It's finally time to talk more about wrong warps. Ethan's about to do one, and that's the reason for this. The first thing to understand is that
What?
each area of the game is made up of several screens. Whether it's a vertical area or a horizontal area, each one is made up of a bunch of screens stitched together. This video by
Oh, no, I saw it
will
in the
help us
bottom
visualize
left.
The next part.
It's like Toad is like
Basically, the game
7,
has two
Peach is
lists in
1.
memory. On the left, we have all the screens in the current area. And on the right, we have the locations
And I'm
that
sure
all
he'll
of
bring
those
it back
screens
up
would
again.
lead to. Like if you were to go in a door or climb up a vine or whatever. Take this screen in 1-1 for example. This door takes us to Birdo's room. But if you glitch through the ground, you still end up on the same screen, just via the ladder instead of the door. But what happens if you glitch through the ground on a screen that doesn't already have a door, or any kind of entrance? Well, weird stuff can happen. The way this works is each time the list of screens is updated, the list of entrances is updated too. But only the screens that actually lead somewhere update their corresponding spot in the entrance list.
Alright.
This means when you transition to a new area, you'll have a whole new list of screens, but only some of the entrance list is updated. All the time as you play through the game, you've got a bunch of leftover entrances hanging out in memory, which
So-
normally don't matter
okay.
because there's never supposed to actually be any entrances on those screens. But with glitches, we can trigger an entrance on a screen we're not supposed to, and get sent to one of these destinations. I hope that
Okay.
made any sense.
It made a little bit, but
This is the reason Ethan climbs all the way to the top in 3-3, and then turns around.
yeah, Toad
When
7,
you first
Peach
enter
1.
the door, the game loads 5 screens into memory, the last of which points to the boss room. You would normally travel through this room, enter the Hawkmouth, and arrive at the boss.
But when he goes back
Instead,
to the other
you can
warp
go
point,
back through the door, and then the game loads
It's
the
gonna
set of
pull
screens
him,
for
yeah.
the previous room. The 5th screen in the list still points to the boss room, so if we can trigger a glitched entrance while on that screen, we'll end up at the boss. The screen we need to do this on
Ow.
is this one. There's not really anything to work with on this screen, but there is a door on the screen above. Maybe we can do that glitch from earlier that lets us move during the door animation,
and then
and move down to the lower screen before the door transition happens.
ow,
Turns out it works.
oh
This
my
might come as
gosh.
a surprise, but the whole point of this actually isn't to get to the boss room faster. In fact, we'll get there a tiny bit slower going this way. All of this is so Ethan can take a star into the boss room and defeat Mauser instantly. So much is about to happen here. Ethan grabs a cherry to spawn a star. He does a ladder jump so he can land at the door. He enters the door in the 2-frame window before the screen starts scrolling upwards. Now he can move around during the door animation, and he uses this time to fly down the ladder and make it to the screen below just in time. If you don't get down far enough
My
before the screen
gosh,
transition
dude.
happens, you'll actually end up stuck in the ceiling of a different room. But that's not what happened this run. Ethan made it to
This
the
is
boss room
ridiculous, dude.
with a star and instantly defeats Mauser.
You're blown away too. This is
If
all
you
new
can believe
information.
it,
We're
doesn't
experiencing this for the
stop
first time
there.
together. This is
If
crazy,
you do all
dude.
of this fast enough, the star music will end just after the victory music starts playing, and it'll cancel both of them. That lets him go through the door immediately and skip waiting for the fanfare to play.
That's ridiculous.
So much happens here in such a short period of
Oh
time.
my gosh.
And it all amounts to saving
There's so
a
much
total of
manipulation.
15 seconds.
There's so
Again,
much
I hope all of
manipulation
that
in
made
this speedrun.
sense.
It's
This was a hard
unbelievable.
trick to explain. Whew. All right. After all of that, we
And this
finally
is
have a
the
little
all
bit of a
levels run.
breather in World 4.
Oh my
The next
gosh.
couple of stages are pretty chill. We're back to playing as Toad, so we can run fast. 4-1 is just straightforward platforming until we come to this rocket. These rockets will shake for a while before taking off, and how long they shake for actually depends on a frame rule.
Seriously?
Yes, this thing may as well be a bus. The rockets will only take off every 64 frames.
Back to the bus
So
frame
if you
rule
miss a
with
cycle,
Mario 1.
You'll lose a full second, which is pretty painful. The optimal cycle for the rocket on this stage is super easy to get, but that won't always be the case. Ethan does a cool strat in the next room, where he throws an enemy and then double jumps off of it. And that's the end of this stage. No boss fight here.
I know, we'll cancel both.
In 4-2, there's another rocket, but the cycle for
I'm glad
this
you
one
understand.
isn't so free. We need to
I'm grasping
Ethan does a
grasping
cool
like
move here
half
where
of
he
it
charges
here.
up a jump while
I
sliding
understand
on the
like the
ice.
principle as what's happening. I
Fortunately,
just
he
don't
jumped
understand all
barely
of
too
the
early, and he
fundamentals
doesn't get
going
the
into
power
it.
jump. He quickly recovers with a vine jump, but now the rocket
Not all
cycle
the
is going to be
fundamentals.
tight.
I don't understand all
As
of
he
the
hops across these
different parts
whales,
going
he
into
detours
it.
a little bit to collect cherries, because a star will be very handy coming up. There's going to be a rocket at the end of this room, and again, he's at risk of losing the cycle on this one.
So how does he
adds
maintain
in
the
a
cycle?
difficult double jump off of this enemy to make up a little bit of time. Alright,
Oh, 'cause he
here's
just
the
has to
rocket.
be
Let's see how he
fast.
did. Ah, that thing shook forever. He barely missed the cycle. Ah well, we keep going. In the next room, you're supposed to ride this thing, called an auto bomb, so you can cross the spikes. Instead, he takes damage and gets as far as he can while he has invincibility. He collects the final cherries needed for a star, and then hops on this enemy to keep him safe until the star floats up. The star lets him cross the rest of the spikes, but even better, he takes it into Birdo's room for another
And
star
kills Birdo.
kill. Another one down. We're
Oh
on to
my
4-3.
gosh, dude.
This is an interesting level. First of all, it's Luigi time. Time for some huge
Luigi
jumps.
time.
Now, I kind of
love
lied
Luigi.
earlier about there being no more pink Birdos. There is one more here, but we're not fighting it. We need to ride on an egg to get through this level. If you walk straight out the door at the beginning, you have to wait for a few seconds on the global timer before Birdo will spit out an egg. And while you're waiting, Birdo walks further to the left, which means the egg has to travel further and waste time. Ethan instead does something
Is he just
really
gonna
clever
ride
here.
it?
He waits before entering the door,
Is that what's
and then
happening
goes
here?
out when the time is right. Now, Birdo doesn't have a chance to walk to the left, but she still fires an egg at the same time, which is a pretty smart optimization. After a few seconds of riding the egg, Ethan builds up some speed and jumps off. And now, we arrive at this door. You're supposed to go inside and climb this giant tower. Seriously, it just keeps going. You're meant to
What?
ride an enemy across some spikes, find a key, go all the way to the bottom, and come out the other side. How about instead of all of that, we jump?
Jump over it.
Nice. Thank you, Luigi. Now
My
we're basically
gosh.
at the boss.
Luigi wins by
This
doing
is
nothing.
Fry
Oh, I
Guy.
love.
Once we hit him 3 times, he breaks up into small
I don't know if you
fries.
saw, but for one
We
of
have
the
to
Super
really
Mario
carefully plan
anniversaries,
how to do this
the
fight, or
Nintendo
else the
actually
small
did
fries will
a
scatter all over, and it'll be a
Luigi
huge
beats
mess to
stage
clean up.
1-1 doing
There are
nothing
several
by having
different
all the other
strategies people have
characters
used on
carry
this
him and
fight.
stuff.
Here are a few examples
And
of
he
what
like
they've done in the
collected all.
past,
They used
including what
Luigi's
the
body
previous
to collect
world
all of the
record did.
coins and
But
everything else
Ethan
too.
came up with his
It's actually a
own way
really
of
funny
doing
video.
this. Let me introduce you to
I can
the
pull it up after this. It's like
Shenron.
2
He
minutes.
tosses one. He tosses another. They both
Actually,
tag
here.
Fry Guy on the way down.
Well, if you
Now,
haven't seen
the
it, I'll
third
pull it
throw
up.
is very carefully timed, so Fry Guy separates while inside the wall. That makes the small fries get stuck inside and bunch up together. Now, he throws one block to douse them all as they're popping out, and then lands right between the goalposts. Okay, we've made it to World 5.
How do you
and
remember
Luigi gets
so
to
much
hang around for
manipulation
another
tips?
level.
Or
And you can see why. We have
tactics.
some massive jumps to make here.
this is just
Once
too
we
much.
get to Birdo, this one also has a beautiful strategy. Another Ethan
ridiculous.
special that he crafted himself. There's just enough time here to get in position before she falls down. Ethan throws this block.
There's the
while
fireball.
It's inside a wall.
Oh wait,
which
is
makes
this
it
the
fall
only?
straight
Does it only throw
downwards.
fireballs?
It starts to damage Birdo as it falls, and then he gives it a huge
Yeah, that one
rebound
must
back
only throw
up to do
fireballs.
2 more hits. Such a cool fight. All right, 5-2. If we go back to our podium of hardest levels, 5-2 gets the bronze. And that's mostly because it has 1 billion vine jumps.
My gosh.
People actually use
AKA
Luigi
17.
for this stage.
We've
because all
seen
the
Die
vine
in
jumps are
F-Zero
easier
Death
with him.
Race by holding
But
A.
again,
Get
Luigi
ready for
rises
Die in
slowly with
F-Zero
all of his
Death Race
jumps,
by holding
so
nothing.
using Toad will be a lot faster. Plus, we can pick up an enemy to run faster this way too.
Actually?
There is one issue though. At this spot, Luigi can
How do you
jump
win
right
a
up
race
here,
in F-Zero by
but
doing
Toad
nothing? Is
can't
that
with a
possible?
regular jump.
No, you'll
Instead
bang
of
into too
charging
many
a squat
walls.
jump, Ethan throws one enemy to use as a
Although I
stepping
like where your
stone,
head's
and
at.
then grabs the other one to keep running fast.
I like where your head's at with
Now,
this one.
He didn't end up going for it in this run, but over here, he normally
Oh,
uses
you're
this
right. It
off
should
throw
be.
to get
The
a
the
big
challenge should
double
be to
jump and
survive for
climb the vine
24 hours
faster.
by doing nothing.
All right, this next
Really
screen
make people
is a
simmer on
doozy.
it.
Here come all the vine jumps. It is super easy to miss any number of these. And
I'm all
have
about
everything
those
just spiral
speedruns that
out of
are a
control.
test of
Ethan had a couple
fortitude
hiccups here, and unfortunately lost about 3
stamina.
seconds on the stage. He ended up having
Patience.
a great Birdo fight though. We need to use 2 eggs to damage her. And again, each one has a 12% chance
I would love
be a
to
fireball.
create just
Luckily,
a
he
stupid
got eggs
category,
both times.
a stupid
And
speedrun
he
category
grabbed
for like
this
every
shrouded
main
enemy
game.
in a cool way to finish
Like
her
the
off.
absolute stupidest
Okay,
possible
time for
category.
5-3. It's raining bombs in this level. They explode
I think that
shortly
would be
after you
so
pick
much
them up,
fun.
and they're kind of out of the way on this first screen, so Ethan doesn't stop to grab any of them. When he reaches these 3 bombs, he manages them strategically to blow up the walls and get through as soon as possible. And now on the next screen, he does juggle a couple of bombs to give Toad a speed boost. This next room is a wild climb. He crouches and slides through this gap to skip a very long
I don't think
detour
I've
down
ever
below.
made it this far in the game.
Now, he's got a
I
precarious
don't
climb
recognize
ahead
this
of him.
map at all.
He grabs one of the mushroom blocks so Toad can move faster as he jumps back and forth. He makes his way towards the top, and then once he does, he can't enter the door with the block in his hands. So he tosses it. Huh. Well, that's fun. This next part is also really fun. We get to do another fast carpet glitch. Remember that this involves spawning 2 carpets.
Right.
Ethan snipes the first Pidget with a turnip, loads the second one, and hops on. This level will be
Ridiculous.
very reminiscent of
What
1-2. He once again lines up with the ground to do another drive-by
He was
veggie
on
kill.
the carpet for like
And
a
we get
pixel
another veggie kill
before
on
he hopped
Birdo.
on the second one.
It's not over yet, though. We have the
This guy's
boss of
nuts.
this world left to fight. This is Claw Grip. In Doki Doki Panic, the boss of this world was yet another Mauser fight. But we got a brand new boss in Mario 2. Speedrunners maybe would have preferred a Mauser fight here, though, because this guy is the worst. If Birdo's egg RNG wasn't bad enough, this guy may as well be a slot machine with extra steps. The only way to hurt him is to grab the rocks that he throws.
Oh.
He can throw them at different intervals and at different heights, which is very random and very annoying.
So it's a very
Joke's strat
unpredictable
here was
boss
to
fight?
throw rocks against the back wall and have them bounce into him.
Ah.
They'd usually hit a couple of times, but depending on how Claw Grip moves, they could rarely hit 4 or even 5 times and take him out in one go. That's cool and all, but again, it's all very random. You got random throw timing, random throw heights.
So is
and then
there a
when you
more
deal
consistent
damage,
way
you get
now?
a random number of hits. At least, that's how things were until this happened.
What? Yo, is that a new... Yo, is that the new strat?
This is the cool crab kill. When you take damage in this game, enemies and objects can just fall through the floor during the damage animation. If you do this with one of the rocks and get it stuck in the ground below Claw Grip, it'll eventually bounce up out of there and combo him to death. This discovery got rid of a fair amount of luck in this
You can
fight,
do so
but
much in this game by intentionally taking damage. That's crazy, dude. Like, half of the really cool things that are happening in this is because they're taking
There still
damage
is
to do
luck.
it.
Ethan got pretty good luck in his
That's a-
run. He got a hold of a rock quickly, did the cool crab kill, and wrapped up World 5.
And I'm guessing,
Once you-
the reason that it's because that way is because the game freezes and like some things still move, and some things don't, so it causes like the things to get
Get
stuck
this
in the
far
ground
run,
and then
the
clip
nerves
and
can
clip
really
and
start
clip.
to
I don't
set
know,
in.
maybe.
We're past a ton of the insane tricks and a ton of the
Regardless,
luck-based
it's
stuff.
so cool.
6-1 has a lot of tricky platforming. We're literally dodging bullets here. And it's super easy to come up short on one of these jumps. None of that stuff is trouble for Ethan though. Everything is going great. Ouch. This is like annoyingly easy to do. You're just trying to get him out of your hands so you can go in the door, but so often he lands right on the ledge next to you and hits you. Despite this mistake, Ethan goes on to play really well in the next section. The climb out of this sand was fantastic. His mistake earlier will mess up the Birdo pattern, and ultimately it loses him 3 seconds on this stage.
Ooh.
But I want to show how he made up a full second in this room compared to the previous world record.
Cool
Super
kid.
impressive movement. Alright, moving on to the next level. It's Luigi time again.
It's always at 100%.
Spoilers, we're going to stick with him
We're
for
almost
the
there.
next
We're almost
3
there. 6
stages.
minutes.
You'll immediately see why we want Luigi for 6-2.
Dude.
I'm just going to let this one play. This right here is one of the most satisfying speedrun strats I've ever seen. The birds are spaced so perfectly apart. Again, it's almost like it was intended.
Yeah, it
On the
seems like it
Birdo
was
fight at the end,
intentional.
he intentionally takes damage so he can stand on top of the orb inside Birdo. He keeps dealing damage and picks up the orb immediately.
You can
once
stand
she's
on the
toast.
orb inside of
Now in
Birdo, dude.
6-3, the regular path is to head to the right, go through this huge cave, and then
But
you
he's
have
gonna
this
go above it?
insane climb up into the
He's just,
sky.
let me guess, he's just gonna
And
clip
then
over
up in
top
the
of it.
sky, there is, of course, a pyramid, which is where the boss resides. Instead of going through all of that, there's actually a secret shortcut at the start. You can go down into the quicksand and make your way over to this hidden door. And that brings you right up by the pyramid. But instead of that, we can make our own secret shortcut by jumping off of a potion to go up and over. I love it, man. This type of trick is an example of why I love speedrunning. It's just really creative
literally,
and
how can we
awesome.
save just one more
Okay,
second?
Now to fight Birdo. For the last time, Ethan needs one final egg from her and hopes to once again avoid the 1 in 8 chance of a fireball. She gives him the egg,
There it
which
is.
allows for a quick kill, and that brings the odds of this run to 23%. Only a 23% chance between all the Birdos and Claw Grip to get a run like this. If you
Wow.
count the 1 in 4 chance of getting the dig skip back in 2-2, this run is really something. Anyway, Ethan grabs the orb and crouches into the Hawkmouth once again.
But that's
to
why
avoid
they
the
play it
scene in the
over and
next
over and
room.
over and over
then
again.
we have another Triclide fight. He tosses one block up here, grabs another, and then uses his invincibility to go inside Triclide and reuse the first block for a quick 3 hits. That does it for World 6, and now we're in the final world of the game.
This is
World
ridiculous.
7 only has 2 levels instead of 3, and we get to keep using Luigi for this first one.
Yeah, buddy. Luigi's what's
over
up?
to this rocket on the left. But Luigi can go ahead and just jump over here on his own. And in the next room, Luigi can just jump over this wall too. Finally, we have a bunch of ladder jumps to climb up this screen to the final Birdo fight. And thankfully, these jumps aren't too bad to do with Luigi. Once in the final
Just
Birdo
good
fight,
movement.
Ethan says he took things pretty chill here. I mean, I guess. Looked fast to me. But you can see he does lose a bit of time. His lead is dwindling. However, his current PB he's comparing against
My gosh.
is literally 1 frame off of the record. He just needs to save any amount of time over his personal best, and he'll beat the world record. Here we go, on to the final level. 7-2 is a pretty long stage, and we need to go fast the whole time to make a cycle on the boss. After navigating
look at that.
enemies
That
and
was
conveyor
clean.
belts, he has some chains to climb. And instead of climbing this one and continuing on to a huge labyrinth of rooms, he's instead going to jump up on top of the screen again and walk over most of the level. Once he's gone far enough, he drops down to this Birdo. I said the previous stage had the final Birdo fight, and that's true, because we're not going to fight this one. Glitching over the top of the screen broke this Birdo, who usually guards the key. The key is roaming free, and we can just pick it up and move on. Ethan dodges some enemies here and unlocks the door to the room with the final orb. This time, the Hawkmouth
Unbelievable.
comes to life, which was nightmare-inducing for many children, I'm sure. Ethan makes swift work of this bird by bouncing the mushroom block into it twice, and then throwing it for a final hit during his invincibility. Alright, here's the final boss.
I am the Great Wart. Ha ha ha!
One misstep here means death. Because Ethan played the level fast, he makes it here on a good cycle, just in time to catch the first vegetable.
Wow,
coming
yeah,
out of
if
the
he gets hit
dream
once, he's
machine.
done. But he's probably
These
done this so
come
many
out
times,
roughly
he's
every
not
4
worried.
seconds, and we need 6 of them to defeat Wart. They come out in a set pattern, as you can see. Ethan is super prepared to catch each one and throw it into Wart's mouth. Yeah, no, definitely right into his mouth. Anyway, the 5th hit is really scary. You have to get in close, and that's terrifying right at the end of this world record pace run. But he makes it
Yeah,
out alive,
look at that.
and at this point, he's got it. He tosses the last one in Wart's mouth, and that's it. Super Mario Bros. 2, all
Unbelievable.
levels
Hey.
in 20 minutes and 35 seconds. This run is so
Wow.
cool. Honestly, even
He
though
literally
this was my longest
got it
video
by
yet, I have to
milliseconds
say,
there.
I couldn't do it justice. I had to skip over pointing
Unbelievable.
out a lot of little details. There is so much nuance to all the platforming, enemy patterns, glitches, throws, jumps, boss fights. I definitely recommend watching the full thing. I put the link in the description. It's really impressive that
Dude.
Ethan hit all of the tricks, got lucky enough for the run to not die to Birdo Fireballs or the crab, and closed it out. He took a little break, but he's going to be back for more in this game soon, and he'll be going for the world record in any percent, and other categories as well. Definitely check him out.
Yeah,
That pretty much does it for this video. What did you think? I know it wasn't SMB1, but
That
I want
was
to sometimes cover
spectacular.
other runs that I think are really cool. Maybe I could even branch out further, something like Donkey Kong Country 2.
yeah,
Let me know.
definitely,
and
dude.
subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Thanks for watching.
I would definitely watch a Donkey Kong video about like if this guy did one.